Capital, Diversity, and Inclusion Consultants welcomes you to our introduction to housing. In this presentation, we will discuss affordability, availability, homelessness, and how it is a social, not just an individual problem. Please keep in mind that this is only a basic introduction and does not begin to cover all housing-related social justice issues. Affordability. Housing, like food and healthcare, is a basic human need, something everyone needs for safety, health, and stability. The Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, is the federal agency that measures and determines what affordable housing is. It started at 20% in the 1930s and climbed up to 30% in the 1980s, where it remains today. Even those who have housing are often just one paycheck away from becoming homeless. Getting into housing often presents its own set of problems when landlords ask for 2 months' rent and a security deposit in advance. They ask 3 to 4 times the monthly rent and income, and then often discriminate on the type of income allowed. This graphic shows the cost of housing in Solano and San Francisco counties on May 29, 2021. This represents a small sampling from each county. The first 10 available units in each category taken from apartments.com in a county-wide search, which were then averaged for county totals. Of the 10 counties in the Bay Area, Solano County is the most affordable and San Francisco is the least affordable. I've shown these graphs, the cost of housing for studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom apartments, the income it would take to afford these units, and what the minimum wage affordability should be. To be able to afford the lowest cost studio apartment in Solano County at $1,950 a month, a person would have to earn $6,500 per month or $40.62 per hour. Solano County's minimum wage is $13 an hour. To afford this studio would take at least 3 people earning minimum wage. In San Francisco, the cost for a studio is $5,079 a month. Minimum wage is $16.07 per hour. You would have to make at least $15,237 per month or $95.73 per hour to be able to afford this unit. For those making minimum income, it would take at least 6 people together to afford the rent on a single studio apartment in San Francisco. Now let's look at availability. Using the same apartments.com site, I gathered information on all available studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom apartments in all 10 Bay Area counties. This table shows all available units, the total units, total population in the county, the number of affordable units based on minimum wage, and the total number of homeless, along with the year the last count was taken. Even if every county were to dedicate the total available units to housing the homeless, only San Mateo and Santa Clara counties would be able to house all their homeless. With studio apartments being the least expensive, many young people starting out, single people, and couples like this option. The problem is that there is not enough studio apartments to meet the demand, and that only serves to drive rents even higher. Napa County had 0 available studios, and 4 other counties had fewer than 25 studios available. That represents a shortage of available housing and deprives people of an affordable place to call home. Housing costs have increased nearly 2,700% in the last 100 years that we have been keeping data. The dollar value, on the other hand, has only increased by half that. Housing is capitalism at its worst. Supply and demand have always driven prices, and limited supply means higher prices for what is available. Higher prices drive more people out, leaving only the elite able to afford housing. Gentrification is a death knell for affordable housing and the opening bell to homelessness as a way of life. Fair market rates are hardly fair when they do not consider a person's income, only what the public is willing to pay. It means that essential workers, like teachers, maintenance workers, and grocery store clerks, are priced out and cannot afford to live in the communities where they work. Health, sanitation, stability, and safety should not be political playthings. They should be foremost in the thoughts of those who develop housing and in those who set the standards for what is acceptable. Fair market rates should be keeping people in housing that is safe and affordable, even for minimum wage earners. Housing should not come at the expense of food, health, and access to schools and jobs. When basic needs cannot be met, the entire community pays for it in the form of increased risks of violence, disease, crime, and the excrement and trash building up on our city streets. However, it is important to understand that affordability and availability, while major contributors, are not the only reasons people are homeless and are not the only issues with housing.
Homelessness. Homelessness is an increasing problem for most cities in America. California has the nation's largest homeless population, averaging up to 160,000 adults on any given day. Many of the homeless living here are from out of state. Some come here because the climate is better, some come looking for jobs, and some have even been bussed in from other states like Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and Pennsylvania as a way for those states to control their own homeless population. Counting the number of homeless is important because it determines what state resources will be made available, how many can be served, and what future resources will be needed. These numbers are gathered from point in time, or PIT counts, which are conducted countywide on the same day. Counts include homeless encampments, those known to be living in their vehicles, and those in shelters. These counts, however, are not inclusive and do not accurately represent the total numbers of homeless because it is impossible to locate them all at the same time. These counts have increased by an average of nearly 20% annually, making this a national epidemic. No one is immune from the possibility of becoming homeless. Homelessness today affects infants and children, physically and mentally disabled, elderly, families, low-income wage earners, minorities, immigrants, students of every age, and veterans. This table shows the number of homeless students attending public school in the 10 Bay Area counties and in Sacramento. Combined, there are over 36,000 homeless students in this region. Southern California is even worse. Los Angeles County alone has over 68,000 homeless students. Reports from an October 2020 report by UCLA shows that prior to COVID, California had at least 269,000 homeless students, enough to fill Dodger Stadium 5 times. This report also shows the majority of these homeless students are Latino. Latinos represent 54% of California students and 70% of homeless students. Many schools today have added services for their homeless students that include food, clothing, school supplies, coats, blankets, and counseling for students and families. Public-private partnerships between government and local businesses can ease the homeless crisis. This is a valuable reminder that homelessness needs wraparound services to be effective. Those include job training, counseling, healthcare, transportation, nutritious food, and adequate, stable shelter for every person. There is no one-size-fits-all answer, and we must solve this as a community.
If you or someone you know is facing housing issues, evictions during COVID, needs assistance with a disability accommodation, or if you feel you have been discriminated against, please contact a local fair housing authority or advocate, such as Fair Housing Advocates of Northern California or Legal Services of Northern California. Or, using the links provided, contact your local public housing authority or court for more information and assistance. I'll leave this up for a few seconds so that you can write down the information that you need. Thanks for watching. If you would like more information on housing or other topics, please contact Don Gagno, Director of Social Programming, at 916-912-3688 or at dgagnocdic@gmail.com. You can also visit our Facebook page for a look at all the videos at www.facebook.com/CDIC Sacramento.